Hi, Sharks. I'm Julia Dixon from New York City, and I'm seeking $250,000 for 5% of my company.
Wow.
So, like, pumped for you and so proud of you because it's just so cool how, like, things just happen for, like, good people, you know? So if you wanna share, like, the experience of how you got to this point, that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, I can start with, I'll go all the way back to high school, which usually I don't start back that far, but it is relevant because I'm working with high school students and been actually thinking a lot lately about my own high school experience. And what I definitely didn't have figured out was like, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur or I want to start a company or even work in tech. Like none of those things were really on my radar. I wanted to be a writer. Like that is what I liked at Marian. My favorite classes were AP English and Lit, and like that was always my strength. And I wanted to go to college to study something creative, something that had to do with writing. And I ended up applying to Michigan and going for film and communication. So, yeah, I think Marian was like one of the first places that I fell in love with writing, and I think the opportunities to like not only write in class but do like really random fun creative stuff. Like I think back of when you and I were in the like raffle skit together and we wrote scripts and you were Ellen DeGeneres and I was Amy, and I don't know, I think like opportunities like that, writing field day songs, like those creative things that aren't just like a homework assignment, to like connect to a greater purpose or like speak to a specific audience, like your classmates at Marian. I can keep going. I guess once I went to Michigan, majored in communications and film, the screenwriting concentration, and I ended up moving to New York because I got an internship at CBS Sports. And I was working on, I did the Big Ten tournament at Madison Square Garden, and I was working under Tracy Wolfson, who was a Michigan grad. And yeah, being there was like, I really wanted to work in media and entertainment, and I ended up getting a full-time offer at CBS as a page. Around the same time, I was exploring other options and also applied to the media and communications firm Weber Shandwick. At the end of the day, CBS was offering $10 an hour, so I opted for something with more of a salary, so I could feel comfortable moving to New York. And yeah, worked at Weber Shandwick for over 6 years. I had the best experience there. I was writing a weekly newsletter and I was working on a bunch of clients and I was doing a lot of social media stuff, which is how I got into TikTok. And all that kind of laddered up to what became SAI, which is posting a lot on TikTok, helping people write, helping people tell their stories. And then the real reason I got into it was because on the side, really since I was an undergrad, I've been doing college advising on the side. It started really informally and became a bit more formal over the years where, students, a lot of Marian students I was working with came to me for help.
Is it just so cool? You're so right, like, literally nobody will do it for you, you have to do it for yourself, and then, like, look at you now, you know? And so, like, the look at you now is if you don't mind sharing your experience. We had our Marian viewers stay tuned. Last Friday, May 9th, they tuned in to see you on Shark Tank on our screens all across the world or like America. I don't know. There's it's on our screens and it was unreal. Like you went in there with like confidence and like we saw something that was just incredible. You probably had maybe a different experience. I mean, it was probably incredible, but like if you don't mind walking us through what it's like to be on Shark Tank, what it was like to get to that point. Um,
Yeah.
if you want to shout out your unreal roommate in the journey and your guys' Shark Tank experience.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, my Shark Tank journey goes back to when I was in college, and I used to watch the show with my roommate Melanie, who has been my roommate since sophomore year of college. She's still my roommate 10 years later in New York.
Shouting out.
Yes, and we used to watch so much Shark Tank. Me, Mal, and several of our college friends used to watch it while we were doing homework and getting ready. And it was just there's reruns of Shark Tank on all the time, and we had cable in our apartment. And when you become a founder, people are always like, "You should go on Shark Tank." But I genuinely thought that I didn't have the right business for them. They don't do a ton of tech and software. Like it seemed so ridiculous. Like really didn't even consider it that hard. But then it was Mel, my roommate, who showed me that the audition was happening right down the street from us. This was almost exactly a year ago. I auditioned on May 8th, 2024. And she's like, "It's right down the street. It's our favorite show. You just have to try." And so she convinced me that it would be just a fun experience to even audition. I figured I went and pitched. You get 1 minute, and there's like a team of casting directors, and you don't get to pick. You just go right in front of whoever has the next open slot. I finally get up there, I give my 1 minute pitch, and I felt like she really liked it, the casting director. But yeah, my casting director, Amelia, shout out to her, has become one of my friends because she like immediately believed in us. She followed my company account on Instagram right after I left the position, and I was like, that seems like a pretty good sign. And then she called me a few days later and told me that they wanted me to keep auditioning with the producers, and yeah, it was a long process from there, but the whole thing was really fun.
Holy smokes. That is like, were you, could you like tell anybody or not really? Or like,
No, I couldn't tell anyone until the 3 weeks right before, um, the episode aired, and then it became public, so yeah, I was walking around with a big secret and just hoping I'd be able to tell people eventually, and then we weren't allowed to talk about the deal until the episode aired on Friday, so yeah, it's really exciting to have everyone find out, and everyone's been really supportive. The whole thing's very professional. They have like a really cool team who helps you with the set. But it's mostly on you. Like you kind of brainstorm what do you think the set should look like. But yeah, they had a great team who like set it up for me, and it was all really easy. And then actually going out there, yeah, I pitched in the afternoon. I spent all day on the set waiting for my turn, and I was really, really nervous. I
I was just gonna ask if you were nervous.
was wildly nervous. I stood in a power pose before I went on and was trying to get
The only like way to pose before you go on Shark Tank, obviously. You know, like when that moment's happening with Mark, is that who you kind of went in there wanting to like have invest, or like how did that moment feel when you were kind of like also, you know, when he was like, I think he said,
Make it 3, you have a deal.
do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I really wanted Mark. I mean, that was probably clear by the fact that we used him in the opening demo. We found a picture of him from high school so he could be like our sample student. And but yeah, I was open to offers from anyone, but I honestly really wanted Mark, and I'm just so happy that he also kind of felt alignment with what we were doing.
Not only was Julia really smart, but I thought she had a good entry point into creating a new kind of social media. We've gotten to the point now where social media isn't very social. You know, it's very stressful. It can be very contentious. But with what ESAI is doing to help kids figure out better ways to apply for schools, it's really focusing on what I call soft skills, what Julia calls soft skills, right? Which are all the things that are hard to measure: character, writing skills, quickness, right? Humor, all these things that are important to you in your school life and then in your corporate life.
Okay, wait, a few more questions if that's okay.
Yeah.
Like what is like next on the agenda for like you and SAI? Like what do you ultimately want to see like, you know, do, you know, and like in its next
Our
stages?
our goal this year is to help a lot more students apply to college. That's what we specialize in. We really specialize in college essay support, but every part of the college admissions process, particularly undergrad admissions, but we do offer support for grad school and different types of grad programs kind of moving into later this year and next year. We really plan to expand beyond just admissions. I talked about this a bit on the show, and I actually think it's what Mark really liked was the idea for this to be more of a wider social platform. So if you come and you start telling your story with us, we help you come up with the best college essay topic and figure out how to weave all these different aspects of your life together, like your hobbies and your values and your cultural background and any hardships you've endured, and all of this kind of paints a picture of who you are. We want to take that kind of foundational story we've started together and help you keep building that.
Seriously, it's like so tough to be like, especially, you know, being back at Marian and myself and like seeing it from like a different lens. Like we talk about it as friends all the time of like, we put so much pressure on ourselves, but like, I feel like we like needed to, because like, if we didn't, like we wouldn't have gotten to where we wanted to be ultimately. And like there's so much pressure that it's like on them already, especially in like today's world. So like to have the support and the kindness within like what you're creating for them is something like selfishly like I wish I would have had like when we were in high school, but also like I'm just so pumped that like they have the opportunity to have that like in their lives. Like it literally you're like changing their lives because you have to think about like what you want to do for the rest of your life and like you just feel like you have to have everything going and if I can go down like a whole entire rabbit hole of all this because it's just so meaningful
It's
and like
stressful for kids. I genuinely, I think it was when we applied to college, but I think it's only gotten even more overwhelming with social media and kids comparing themselves and thinking they have to have it all figured out. And what I hope comes across in my platform is that the goal is not to have it all figured out. Like you might have a general direction of a major or a school you really want to go to, and that's fine. But as is clear in my own journey, like that direction might change and it could be something totally different. And that's totally fine. But what I want to make sure is that we can work for different kind of students, the one who knows exactly where they want to be and we can help them get there, and also the one who really isn't sure and we'll help weave together a story and a path based on what you do know and what is great. And either one of those students could change their mind. I still have no idea like what my trajectory will look like with this company or what's next. So yeah, I would just tell kids like the stress is real. I think it's very easier said than done to say like try not to stress so much, but if we can help you feel more confident about the skills and experiences you already have and use them to get you somewhere cool next, then that's amazing, and that's my goal.
I love that, and that's great advice for them, and not just like the Marian students, every single student, and anything specifically for the Marian students that you would like to, offer advice wise. I know you have a cousin that's currently here, big fan of yours,
Shout out to
and
Megan.
shout out to Megan.
Just enjoy it. Every opportunity I had at Marian from, just a great education, but also all the kind of other things like the community I built there and the opportunities that I mentioned before, just like being involved in student council and leadership and getting to express my creativity and things I like to do, like writing in different organizations and activities. It's you don't always get that. You don't always get like such a tight knit group where you could build something that is creative and also resonates with like very specific group of people. So yeah, just enjoy it. Lean far into the little random things you're into. I always tell students like your hobbies, the stuff you and your friends are obsessed with, the trends you follow on social media, like it's all relevant. It's all part of like business in the world. And I always encourage students to just lean into the things that really get them juiced up. And yeah, I think Marian is like a really great place to foster that as a community. So enjoy it. Don't stress yourself out, and happy to help you with the storytelling wherever I can.
Standing ovation. It's amazing. We have to let them know definitely. Shout out to Mrs. Reich, great
Yeah.
counselor here at Marion's.
Her as a counselor myself is amazing. But we can also give Marian students a code to try out SAI for a whole month. That's completely free. So yeah, hope people check it out.
So kind. I hope that they do too, because if not, they're missing out big time. Mrs. Reich and I will post that everywhere, but seriously, that's really kind. Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, I encourage people check it out as early as sophomore year, start thinking about things like schools and majors. And again, that doesn't mean that's the path you have to be set on, but it's always good to just explore what's out there earlier and keep it in mind as you're kind of figuring out what you like to do. So yeah, excited for people to check it out.